Welcome back. So, if you're just tuning in, this is part 2 of my guide to Wrocław. I sincerely recommend you check out part 1, where we talked about the dwarves of Wrocław. We talked about the city centre with the incredible Old Town Square and the many attractions near there. We visited Szczytnicki, or Cathedral Island, which was the origin of Wrocław. But in this video today, we're going to focus a little bit more on some of the natural wonders. So, for example, you have the Botanical Garden, you have the Centennial Hall, which is surrounded by parks, including the Japanese garden. We will also take you to Wrocław Zoo, the best in Poland, and we take you around Nadodrze, an incredible district. So stay tuned, I hope you enjoy.
Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. This channel is going to bring you everything you need to know about Poland. I am exploring the country, bringing you the history, trying to tell you about the culture and show you what it is really like to live here. So feel free to check out my other media, Instagram, Facebook, and I will share links to those in the comments. I also have a website, www.britlivinginpoland.com, where I collate my videos for easy to view manner. Also, you are welcome to contribute to my efforts through Patronite or Patreon, and all descriptions are available below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please come back for more by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia.
Once again, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Honestly, you helped me get through the month. Life is not always easy. But we are going to start today at the Botanical Garden. Now, this is very near to Szczytnicki, and it actually dates back to 1811, and it was put in place of some Gothic fortifications. It contains a beech forest and a rich collection of Japanese, Chinese, and South American trees and shrubs. And it actually contains 11,500 plant species. Back in 1945, though, it actually had 50 bunkers of ammunition stored here. And one of the remarkable things is you will find 20 fossilized tree trunks, one which actually dates back to 250 million years ago. It was pretty cheap to go around, and it's a fair size for a botanical garden. It's one of the nicest looking ones I've seen in Poland. I think we spent a good hour and a half, as you can see, eventually just chilling by one of the many ponds. But it is definitely a place you should check out. So next we are going to head over to the area of Szczytnicki Park, which contains a lot of wonders, including the Centennial Hall, built between 1911 to 1913 by Max Berg. It was built to commemorate the Prussian uprising and a victory over Napoleon in the Battle of Leipzig. The 96-meter high spire, which you saw at the beginning, was built in 1948 to commemorate the exhibition of regained territories. And during martial law, some daredevil decided to hang the Solidarność flag from the spire. These days it hosts sports events and concerts, and the multimedia fountain is one of the biggest in Europe. Built in 2008, commemorating the 20th anniversary of the first free election in Poland. It actually contains 300 nozzles and 800 lights. And this immense fountain, which has a lot of, let's say, musical kind of shows to go with the lights. It's very similar to the Bellagio fountain in Vegas, if you've ever been there in that kind of style. It actually becomes an ice rink in the winter. And it's one of those places, whether you go day or night, of course, during the summer, it is worth the view. So this is a lovely little area to explore. And we're going to focus next on the Four Domes Pavilion, which now houses the Modern and Contemporary Art Museum. And this structure was built in the beginning, and it contains Polish art from the 20th and 21st centuries. And it was originally, used for temporary exhibitions, though it became a film studio in 1953. Though it kind of went into decline, and in 2009 it was given to the National Museum of Warsaw, and after an extensive reconstruction between 2013 and 2015, it once again became a home for the arts. And the way it is designed, it is to utilize natural light creatively and efficiently. So just by all this, you have the Japanese garden. Now, this was founded by Earl Fritz von Hochberg in 1913 as part of the World Expo. After a while, restoration efforts took place, and this was actually done with the help of Japanese gardeners from Nagoya, and this restoration took until 1996. And it is considered as an example of Japanese garden art. In the summer, there can be a bit of a queue to get inside, and maybe it takes you about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes to walk around. It's not the biggest thing, excuse me, but it is very impressive. It's fun to just explore. As you can see, you have little stepping stones and things here and there. It's very beautiful. We have some people in cosplay who decided to crash the event, pretending they're official people, I guess. But as you can see, it's so green, it's so tranquil, very relaxing place. And yeah, definitely on your must-see things if you're in this area. And all of this is part of the Szczytnicki Park, I hope I pronounced that right, which actually dates back to the 18th century. And the overall park was originally designed as a French garden. It became a bit dilapidated. It was burned down by Napoleonic forces. And it became an English-style garden in the second half of the 19th century. So glad that they saw some sense in the design there. It contains 50 local varieties of tree and 320 types from abroad. It's actually listed as the 4th best park in Europe for its quality. So again, very relaxing place to walk around. Next, we take you to the Warsaw Zoo. As you can see from the crowds coming through the gates here, we had to wait a bit of a time to get in, even though we already had tickets bought ahead of time. The zoo is massive. It takes a long time to explore. It was founded in 1865 and is one of the biggest and oldest zoos in Poland, and many will tell you the best zoo in Poland. I think few people would dispute that. It contains over 12,000 animals in total, covering 1,100 different species. And it also includes a lot of very rare and, in danger of extinction animals. And when you read the About Me section of the zoo on their website, they talk about the preservation of animals. So this is what is very core to the idea. Of course, you can see it's very popular. There are a lot of places to eat and drink, a lot of some interesting architecture, very large enclosures for the animals. I didn't see any animals kind of suffering a bit. But it was a bit like Jurassic Park sometimes, where, can you see the animal? Can you see it? And they didn't put any goats out to distract the wolves or the lions, sadly. It's the sort of place you could probably spend an entire day, and you have such a wide variety of things to see. I personally love the penguins. And the penguins are actually part of the Africarium? Yes, I think I pronounced that right. Which we're going to go on to very shortly. It is one of the main, you could say, like centerpieces of the whole zoo. You can see the Centennial Hall in the background there. And rhinos, giraffes, elephants, pretty much anything you want to see, you will find at this zoo, though it may be asleep or hidden. And a lot of the structures in here actually date back to the sort of 19th century. And yeah, some of them are just pretty cool. Like it almost feels like you're in a movie sometimes wandering around this place. Okay, here we go, the Africarium. The queues for this place can be enormous. I think I waited something like 2 hours to get in here last time. But I had to go. It was actually my second time here. But yeah, I had to go back. This was actually built in 2014 and is the only place in the world, I'm assuming outside of Africa, dedicated to the flora and fauna of Africa exclusively. It actually contains, I think, 4 different ecosystems. And the entire complex includes like 19 aquariums, swimming pools and tanks with a total area of 4.6 thousand square meters and a capacity of over 15 million litres of water, purified by 50 filters. Of some of the things contained, you will find fauna of the beach and coral reef of the Red Sea. There is the fauna of East Africa with the Nile hippopotamus pool, and fish of lakes Malawi and Tanganyika. Fauna of the Mozambique Channel with a swimming pool presenting, among others, rays and brown sharks. And the Congo jungle fauna with pools of manatees and Nile crocodiles. It's one of those places that when you walk around it, it is a little bit crowded, I'm not going to lie. As you can see from the queues, they only let in maybe about 20 people at a time, per slot, as it were. And people like to hang around. But it is a lot of fun to explore, and I really recommend that you spend the time in the queue to go in there. You even have like a corridor of water, which unfortunately, due to the crowds, I had a hard time getting decent footage of. So finally, in this video, we are going to the district of Nadodrze. Again, I'm never quite 100% on my pronunciation. It's an area just north of the centre. It's easily accessible by tram, but we decided we were going to walk it on a hot, sunny day. And this is an area which is very cultural, you can say. It is absolutely full of murals and sculptures, and it really is quite an amazing place to just wander around, just to look around and see what you can see. And one of the things that makes this area rather unique is it's a part of Wrocław that wasn't really destroyed during the Second World War. So you don't find much of the kind of Soviet Union brutalist architecture that, covers a lot of Poland these days. But you get a lot of the old German buildings. And here, this is the, let's say, one of a network of kind of back streets. And in I don't know if this is Roosevelt Street, but this is that was one of the famous ones. And basically what happened is the inhabitants wanted to change the dominance of grey in their quarter. They took action and invited street artists from all over the world to create some graffiti art on their facades. Every house could make suggestions, and you will see a lot of people in form of a mural that actually still live there. Or you can just play with the local cats, as Paulina was here. It has an incredible variety of styles, though it's a little bit tucked away. So that map I showed you at the start kind of gives you an idea of where to look or where to start. As I said, you could probably spend several hours wandering around this district to try and see everything. One of the other sort of surprises you'll find is, because some of the buildings are quite in neglect, there's been some financial issues to maintain the area. Some of the old German signs from before the war are starting to creep through the paintwork, which is gradually fading. So that's also a tour on its own. It's also a bit of a district for movie lovers. For example, Steven Spielberg used this district in his movie A Bridge of Spies. And this is where he shot his scenes that were set in Berlin. So because of the German architecture, he was able to get away with that. So yeah, it's totally worth going here from the center of Wrocław. Of course, it's completely free as well. So you can easily get here. It's easy enough to walk around. You have to do a bit of exploring. So make sure you have plenty of water and things with you while you're going. There was a kind of an art studio in the heart of it, where you could sign your name in a little book, and to say where you're from and to give your impressions. That was pretty cool. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun to walk around. Something so totally unique. And you just look at the architecture, and it's not exactly what you tend to see around Poland. And there's a lot of restoration work that's gone into this. A few nice parks. It's meant to be full of little shops and cafes. And it's said to be one of the kind of nicer areas to get accommodation. This is the heart of Nadodrze, which is a mosaic forming a heart. And it is made of little tiles from people and shops all over Nadodrze. And yeah, really, this is one of those areas that... So moving on to next week's video, we're going to take you to a number of places, I would say, in the south of Wrocław. So we have a wonderful train museum, we have the Jewish cemetery, an incredible water tower. We're going to take you to this old museum about life after World War II. So please subscribe and stay tuned and join us again.